So I just want to be scared again. So the film It is coming out in a couple of days, and it's got me thinking, when was the last time I was actually scared by a horror film? And I'm not talking about jump scares, because they are just cheap, and they really wind me up so much, because yes, I'll be on the edge of my seat, and yes, I'll feel anxious, and yes, I kind of won't enjoy the film because I'm waiting for a jump scare, and it's just really cheap. And then when I jump, I'm just like, this was just a cheap way of making me feel anxious, so I don't enjoy them. Now I don't know if it's going to be the same way. I mean, clowns kind of creep me out anyway, so I'm kind of already going into this film a little bit apprehensive. And from the trailers, it does look creepy, which I'm looking forward to, but I don't know if I'm going to be scared. I want to come home and I don't want to turn the lights off. That's how scared I want to be. One of the last films that I kind of felt this way for was The Forest with Natalie Dormer. And yes, the film was kind of bad. I did have to drive through a treed area, and that made me feel apprehensive. And I think the fact that it's based on a true place, like an actual suicide forest in Japan, was just... I think it added to that creep factor that just made it a little bit scary for me. One of the other films that had a lasting impact on me was Number 23. Now that's not scary, it was like a psychological thriller, but it stayed with me for a really long time. And when someone points these things out to you, you start noticing them everywhere. The Number 23 drove me slightly crazy. Now that's the type of film that I really, really like. I want to be scared. I wanted to be thinking about things after the film's finished. One of my favourite episodes of Doctor Who is Midnight. You don't have a clue what that monster is, or what that being is, or what anything is. You just don't know what's out there. And maybe that's just the fear of the unknown. Or maybe it was the fact that it was the humans that were actually turning on each other because of something external. That stayed with me for a little while, and I thought quite a lot about that. I mean, it has stuck with me. It's one of my favourite episodes of Doctor Who. I quite like ghost films. Not films like Paranormal Activity, which are just full of cheap jump scares. And I haven't seen any in particular, but TV shows like Ghost Hunting, which I know seem quite fake and things like that, but just the idea of something happening in the corner of your eye that you can't quite track with your brain, or, I don't know, the wind blowing through a corridor, but you make it sound like something else. A perfect example of this is where my father used to work, which was a workhouse turned into an office. Now, as soon as it got dark, I would not go near that building whatsoever, because they used to say that you could hear children crying at night, or you could hear the strain of a rope. And that was just creepy as hell. And I know that it would just be the wind blowing through these buildings, but there was no way that I was ever going near those buildings at night. And if I did have to go and meet my father, I would be apprehensive as hell. And I did not enjoy it in the slightest. But I was scared, and if that was a film, that would be fantastic, but it was real life, and I wasn't about that life. But just the idea of babies crying, or worse, children laughing when there's not supposed to be children, that would scare the hell out of me. But all this talk about things that scare me, and what with October rolling around soon, I am quite anxious to go and find some kind of ghost walk. Not one near me though, somewhere further afield. I'd be quite willing to travel in order to get some kind of experience. So if you know any good days out, please let me know down in the comments below. But also, I'd love to hear your thoughts on horror films. What scares you? Are you annoyed by jump scares as much as I am? Please do let me know. But that's all that I have to say, other than see you tomorrow and stay nerdy.